In the past few years, there have been some notable additions to Chicago's cityscape, like the St. Regis Tower, a Genie Gang-designed luxury residential skyscraper, which became the city's third tallest building in 2020. But how can we expect the city to further evolve architecturally in the coming years? Let's look at a few projects in the works that are poised to further redefine the city of Chicago. First, let's talk about a building that's almost complete. 1000M is another 800-plus foot skyscraper that's being completed in the South Loop. It's a residential tower that's designed by architect Helmut Jahn. Jahn was a legendary Chicago architect, known for his work on the O'Hare United Terminal, as well as the Thompson Center and the Messeturm in Frankfurt, Germany. Jahn tragically died in 2021. And so 1000M will be considered his final Chicago building. As of April 2024, the building's exterior is almost all complete, and occupancy is expected in the summer. Architecturally, 1000M has a formal appearance, with just a hint of Jahn's characteristic playfulness, and its striking profile will further cement the South Loop's emerging architectural presence in the skyline. 400 North Lakeshore Drive, another major skyscraper project, has just broken ground. Though technically, it broke ground back in 2008. Back then, a project known as the Chicago Spire was planned for the site. Designed by Santiago Calatrava, the Chicago Spire was projected to be the world's tallest building at the time. Yet soon after construction started on the ambitious project, it became tied up in financial complications, exacerbated by the 2008 financial crisis. And though excavation had begun, it never became more than a giant hole in the ground. It took 15 plus years for a new project to break ground on the site. 400 North Lakeshore Drive will consist of two primarily residential towers, designed by the Chicago firm Skidmore, Owings & Merrill. The higher of the towers will rise to 858 feet, and for now, only the taller tower will be built, with the shorter one following in Phase 2. The project has a unique tapered form, and it will feature a modern take on the Chicago window, a style of bay window that was pioneered on early Chicago skyscrapers. This project also includes the development of DuSable Park, in a public-private partnership with the Chicago Park District. DuSable Park, directly to the east, was originally dedicated by Mayor Harold Washington in 1987, but it underwent decades of complications, and plans were stalled. The new park will honor Chicago's founder and first non-native settler, Jean-Baptiste Pont DuSable. But perhaps the most ambitious current proposed skyscraper is the Tribune East Tower. Proposed to share a site with the historic Tribune Tower, the Tribune East Tower would rise to a height of 1,442 feet, making it the second tallest building in the city and just 8 feet shorter than the Willis, aka Sears Tower. If built, the tower would redefine Chicago's skyline. Adrian Smith Gordon Gill is the architecture firm for the building, which will have 439 rental units, 125 condos, and 250 hotel keys. But it's important to note that this project also has a rocky history. Originally slated for construction years ago, and going on hold in 2020, in early 2023, however, it was reported that the developer was gearing up to break ground. And assuming no other further delays, the project is set to be completed in 2027. 1000M, 400 Lakeshore Drive, and Tribune East Tower are the most notable singular skyscrapers in the works in Chicago. But there are a few other developments that deserve mention due to their scale, like the 78, a proposed mega-development, which will occupy a 62-acre parcel adjacent to downtown, once a former rail yard. The 78 gets its name from the 77 wards of Chicago, implying that this development will become the 78th neighborhood. The ambitious plans show high-rises, offices, residences, and the latest proposal even includes a new stadium for the Chicago White Sox. But despite grand ambitions, anything of substance has yet to actually materialize on this site, which is the same story as Lincoln Yards. Lincoln Yards is another ambitious development proposal, which envisions a new neighborhood rising from a 52-acre former industrial district, adjacent to Lincoln Park and along the north branch of the Chicago River. All told, Lincoln Yards would include 14.5 million square feet of new housing, office, and retail. And while the first building at Lincoln Yards has been completed, it's been sitting empty for at least a year. While future progress on the project seems to be on hold, and the developer has reportedly been seeking new funding, Lincoln Yards and the 78 megadevelopments would represent radical transformations of the surrounding cityscape, and they deserve videos in their own right. All told, this group of potential Chicago projects reflects the city's ethos of ambitious architecture and development, which might be summed up best by Chicago architect Daniel Burnham's famous quote, "Make no small plans." Because this group of future Chicago projects are certainly not small.